the pub where the lights are low, but the nerd heat's high and the Guinness flows. For Clovis, California pride, we shout our truth, we pick no sides. Choose right in his
Mega Man, super fine robot, Mega Man. Good morning.
Morning.
Oh, I got Neo COVID or whatever it's called. What is it called?
It's got
Nimbus.
the razor blades.
Nimbus. I got Nimbus Cloud. Call me Goku on this bitch, surfing that COVID wave.
Struggling.
No, I'm fine.
Dying.
Get up! And it's time for Taps and Takes. Live, kind of.
Oh, hang on.
What?
Sorry.
Oh.
Forgot to get my... let's see. Gotta get my... Get my new bag out.
Oh, yeah.
I forgot my laptop. You know,
Not a big... What does that say? Levy School of Business?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Is that a Herschel?
You can believe it or not.
Don't mind me. I just need to pull that out.
Yep. And I'm such a scholar.
Oh, okay.
Go Broncos.
I'm a big Santa Clara guy now.
Huge SC guy. Oh,
Big.
you mean Southern California? No. I mean the Broncos, baby. Go Broncos. Hi, Royce.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Royce.
Give me a little cheers.
Go ahead, a little cheers. Yum, 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 yum. Yum, 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 yum. Anyways, it's time for Taps and Takes. We talk all that nerd news, all that sports news. Semi-live from Groggs Traditional Irish Pub at the northeast corner of Willow Knees. We have the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Royce.
Good morning.
Royce.
Definitely doesn't have the Nimbus Cloud.
Don't have it.
Don't have
Sun
Nimbus.
doesn't have it either.
Sun doesn't have it either, so that's good. We're all three healthy white men up in here with our unique
Up in
white
here.
men perspectives. All right. And as we pointed out earlier, there is not another podcast in the world that has three white people in a room at the same time.
Not one.
This doesn't exist.
Not one.
I don't know if that's entirely accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That's why people keep on showing up, Elliott. Now, before we get started, I want to point out that the Brits attacked me.
The Brits?
The Brits attacked.
The blimey Brits?
I blame Eddie for doing the hands. Okay.
What hands? This?
Yeah, this.
Mm.
So I said a theory that, yes, I understand is controversial and is not backed up by science at all, but at least in my head, it makes sense.
That means the government would love it.
Yeah. The theory goes that I thought it would be cool in my head canon if T-Rexes, those little arms, if they had keratin shoots and wings to help him maneuver when they run around. It makes sense to me in my head. And yeah, that's not what we're used to. But oh my God, the British hate me for it, Elliott.
Why would they, the British in particular?
Because they're British. The first comment, let me read it.
How long's the conversation?
Oh, I just kept on trolling them a little bit just to keep it going. But it's along the lines of, oh, this will only be muttered out of a filthy American's mouth. So.
All right.
So we're going to do more hot takes. I'm going to go ahead and post a picture of what I think a T-Rex really looks like right here. That's for you.
It's going to be really funny when there's image not found.
The file didn't load.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just not mixing down.
Corrupted file.
Anyways, with that being said, good morning, Elliott.
Good morning, Drew.
Good morning, Royce.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Roy. Rolls Royce over here.
Yep. So we're going to get going right into that nerd news. And I'm going to start with this. Kojima's latest game, Death Stranding.
On the beach.
On the beach.
2.
On the beach 2. Got really good reviews. Okay. Are you familiar with Metal Gear Solid and
Solid Snake?
Yeah. Kojima in general.
I know Metal Gear Solid. I never played it, but
Metal Gear.
Think of what Kojima does is basically the most wackadoo sci-fi action stuff, right? His stories always are kind of just wild.
is it a person or a studio?
Kojima is a person, but now technically also a studio. Kojima Studios, right?
He can do it all.
I mean,
He just morphed into a studio.
he is beloved within the industry for being an innovator and doing crazy cool stuff. But I'll send you the link to the story of the first Death Stranding. It is bonkers beyond belief.
That's the one with Norman Reedus.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Back again.
And if you watch just the breakdown, even someone explaining it to you, you're like, what? Like, huh? There's rain that makes you old. There's like people that are stuck in between death and the living world. So if you die, it's like a nuclear explosion if you don't take care of the body really quick. Like, it's just, and everything else that's wrapped around it is just really strange, right? Well, they made a sequel and it's getting excellent reviews across the board. But really what this game is, and I don't even think this is insulting because it's the type of game it wanted to be. It is kind of like a walking simulator. It's like you're delivering packages. Your role, what Norman Reedus does, is basically connect society after this devastating thing happened, right? And by doing so, he's delivering supplies and things to other people.
So it's like the Postman with
Kind of, yes.
Kevin Costner.
It is the Kevin Costner Postman, but science fiction, right?
And with Norman Reedus.
With Old Rain.
Yeah. And there's like crazy, like rando celebrity
Villains.
no,
Cameos.
there's celebrity what's the word I'm looking for when they pop up?
Cameos.
Like celebrity cameos everywhere throughout it, because a lot of people have a lot of respect for Kojima and what he does, but basically he just loves 80s movies and 80s sci-fi. Like everything he does is like wrapped around this. And if you watch the trailer for the second one, you'll just be like, what the fuck is happening, dude? But apparently it's a good game. Did you play the first Death Stranding?
No. I mean, it's not that I'm more excited for Metal Gear Snake Eater.
Yeah, the remake.
Yes. And I heard Death Stranding 2 on the beach, 2 resort and casino. I don't know. I heard it was fun. I heard it was cool. It just, and I love Norman Reedus. We got robbed of his Silent Hills.
Yeah, but I would be more interested in the story of these games than playing the game, right?
I'll see the movie.
Do you think they're going to make a movie for real, though? Because, I mean, I don't know. It's so dense. I don't know how they're going to fit all that into 2 hours.
Death Stranding feels like I should watch the movie first, and then it'll be like, oh, I should just give the games a shot. And by the time, like, the movie's out, they'll probably put it on Game Pass, and then I'd be like, oh, okay, it's on Game Pass now. I can just download it, and I'll check it out. And then I'll go into it, rather than fully investing and then seeing a movie that's not as good as the game. And I'm like, well, that was a letdown.
Well,
Got to do it like Ready Player One. Go in reverse. Watch the movie, love it, then read the book. Oh my God, the book's so much better.
the book is insanely better.
And the movie's
than that
damn
movie.
good.
You've read a lot of stories. 'Cause
I've
you're a
read some.
reader.
Yeah.
Dark Tower notwithstanding, okay, what is the weirdest story that was like so weird for weird sake that you could remember reading?
House of Leaves.
Explain.
It's just a garden.
Someone gave me the book, and it laborious reading,
Right.
for sure. But it's basically, it's not a horror book. It's more just creepy, and it starts with the premise of what if a house was bigger on the inside than it was on the outside, and they
Okay.
can't figure out. And there is like a supernatural element into it, and then there's like, they find like a secret entrance and they take bikes down this long hallway. And it's like I don't know. It was completely off the wall. And then there's like appendices and notes of the guy writing the story of his experience in this house.
Ooh.
And he's taping all of the, like the seals on the windows and the door down with red tape. It has to be red tape for some reason.
Has to be.
And then it goes into how his mom was suffering from, paranoid delusions and dementia and stuff like. It's so multi-layered, and it's kind of like you. I don't know. It was a wild book, and you're constantly like, what is happening? What is going on?
What's the point of this story?
I got the same feeling when I read the Southern Reefs trilogy, Jeff Vandermeer, Annihilation. Remember, did you see the movie Annihilation that came out?
Yeah, it was good.
So the book is infinitely weirder and better, in my opinion. I actually read the book when I saw the trailer for Annihilation. I was like, that looks interesting. Let me go and read this book. And the weirdest story that I enjoyed reading that was weird for weird sake, that it's just off. Like And the whole concept of the book is like, what happens if you're witnessing something that just does not make sense to our knowledge as far as what things are, right? Like physics and how the natural world is supposed to work. If it doesn't make sense, how does your brain interpret it, right? And that was kind of like the whole idea with these series of novels. And they're fantastic. They are great books. But to then make Annihilation, which as a movie, if you don't know the story, solid, right? It's all right. It's good. The movie is nowhere near as good as the book and is not as densely packed with the weird as the book is. And the book's also easy read. Like you would crack through it in probably a day since you're used to like reading.
Yeah, that was pre-children. Now it's like takes a little longer to.
I think
Takes a day and a half.
I think
now.
there's a level of weird that is acceptable by the general audience if you're making a movie. Like if you're making a movie, there's a certain level of weird. And then if you go past that weird, which you would have to with Death Stranding, I think it will get hard rejected by the audience.
I don't think so.
I think so.
No,
I think so, dude.
I think
You got to.
I mean, it all depends on how
you're
it
dealing
looks.
with the average movie watcher, the guy that's like, I'm not going to see that because of animation.
I
You know
could,
what I mean?
I could.
This doesn't make sense. And you're watching a fucking Marvel movie. That doesn't make sense. That's not realistic. Shooting fucking laser beams from your eyes
So,
is not realistic, bro.
I think the Dead Stranding movie is going to go two ways. One, it won't do well in the movies, like in the theaters, and then it will grow that cult following that people are like, dude, how did you sleep on Death Stranding? You didn't watch Death Stranding in theater? Dude, you missed out on a once in a lifetime situation and generational movie. Or it'll, and I hope this isn't the case, it'll just get like super snobby reviews. Like, oh, you didn't understand Death Stranding.
You don't get the Interstellar effect.
You'll get the
You didn't
film,
like Interstellars because you didn't understand Interstellar.
like you'll get the film buffs and the film junkies that are just over pretentious about it, which will then lead to people not wanting to go see it. But I think it'll be a good movie. And then I think for the people that were on the fence about trying the game, are like, you know what? Let's see if we enjoy the game.
I can get down on some weird, man. Like if they do it right, if they do the story right, it's actually a really cool story.
You just can't.
It's just fucking wrapped up in a very weird box.
You can't go
like-
full X-Files. I'll say that.
What do we got next?
All right. We've got, well, we're in a bit of a pickle here because our movie critic, Fast Eddie, Edward
Eddie.
Rouse, the Rouster, I was going to start with 28 Years Later. Legacy sequel to 28 Days and 28 Weeks Later. Getting good reviews. He saw the movie. I was expecting to ask him for a spoiler-free review. But you're not, Eddie.
I am not.
No. So I can't. But I can say that it made over $60 million on its opening weekend. So it did very well for a legacy sequel. DreamWorks How to Train Your Dragon live action is dominating the box office. And then we got to go to the sad part of the box office, and that is Pixar's Elio, which literally
I didn't
has...
even know it was a thing. I only knew it was a thing because I got my daughters a Happy Meal and there was a toy. And they're like, what does ELIO say?
They didn't really have a massive marketing push for it, you know? And
yeah, so the
it's a little weird.
marketing non-existent. I think I saw one trailer on YouTube 4 or 5 months ago, and that was it. It has had the worst opening in Pixar history. 21 million domestic and 14 million international, 35 million altogether. Great reviews for the film, but with the lack of marketing and for the people that clamor, we want original stories. Well, no, I guess you don't, because live action DreamWorks and live action Lilo and Stitch all making billions of dollars. So
I'm telling you, man, people are so confused as to why they're making these remakes, and it's because they typically make a shit ton of money. I don't know how Snow White did, though.
Terrible.
Terrible.
It was,
They lost.
Was that one of the first dumpies?
Like over $100 million.
Really?
Yeah,
I think
something
it's.
ridiculous.
I think it's.
Was that
Disney's,
the first dumpy on the live action remake? Because even Little Mermaid make like tons of money.
Disney started doing live actions of most of their catalog, and there are things that came out that I didn't even know came out. Like there was a live action Pinocchio with Tom Hanks. Never knew that.
Was that Disney?
Oh yeah.
And they did a Dumbo.
They did.
With Danny
wasn't
DeVito.
and it wasn't it Tim Burton? Didn't he do the Dumbo?
he did. He did
And so,
do that.
some of them hit, and some of them just don't.
Let's circle back onto Tim Burton, though. Here's another kind of, all right, let's be weird for weird's sake kind of things, right? And I think that if that's your style, that's fine. Like, if that's how you frame things, that's fine. But it still needs to be an engaging, well-done story, because there's only so much, let's make Dumbo, but let's make them look gross and scare the shit out of children.
Well,
let's do that.
I never saw it, so I can't say it was a Tim Burton film,
Right.
like, Sweeney Todd or
Yeah.
Batman or any of his dark stuff. But I mean, who knows? Who was it that they had? Was it Guy Ritchie that did the live action version of Aladdin?
Yeah.
So you would, you would never place the Lock, Stock, 2 Smoking Barrels director for a Disney live action remake,
that's
and
true.
it was serviceable.
It was fine. It's not. It doesn't even compare to original Aladdin, but it's fine.
Here's a stinky take. The Guy Ritchie King Arthur movie with Jax. Pretty sick. Okay.
Oh my
Was that
goodness! My wife loves it.
Is that
She
the one
loves
from,
it,
like-
and it's so bad.
Is that the
It's
one from
bad,
like
but it's,
15 years
good.
ago?
Huh?
Is that the one from like 15
Dude,
years
yes,
ago?
it's not a good. Okay, hold on. Let me. It's not a good movie in particular. However, I had a hell of a time with that film, dude.
I have an issue with your use of the term "in particular."
What?
It's just all bad. It's just
I disagree.
bad. So
Is that with Clive Owen?
no, it was
No.
Jude Law, and he made a deal with the devil or something like that, and then anytime he wants to fight somebody, he transports them to this mountain in the sea, and they have to do
Oh.
Dude, and how he used the sword at the end, I was like, fucking yeah, Excalibur, baby, let's go.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the Clive Owen one from 2004. That one, kind of a banger.
Clive Owen was in a King Arthur movie?
Yeah, it was
Dude, it was sick.
it had Mad Milk. It was kind of like it was like King Arthur meets Magnificent Seven in a
Kind
way,
of.
because they had Mads Mikkelsen.
Mad Mickelson.
Thank
yeah.
you. Plays like the samurai of the group, and then they
Yeah,
had the
and
big
he's got,
heavy bruiser and the lover. It's kind of like
Lancelot and him are kind of in like this love triangle, but like Lancelot betrays him, but then doesn't.
it wasn't
It's
a
kind
terrible
of a
movie.
banger.
I
It's
think
kind
the
of a banger.
whole mythos, like the Arthurian mythos, is massively underdeveloped as far as what modern media can do. I think the idea of the Knights of the Round Table and the infighting and the betrayal and this is something that could make a sick ass if you elevated it, because I don't know if you guys remember, this was on random kids. You would catch it randomly on kids channels when we were kids, when we were young. There was this anime that had Knights of the Round Table, but they would have powers. It was the most animated version of Knights of the Round Table.
Fate?
No, not Fate. That's modern. This is old.
Is that like the Pegasus Knights? Like the Seiya Pegasus thing?
I don't know. I'll see if I can find it, dude. It's they would have a brick wall shoot out his chest, dude, because it was just anime, right? But it was sick. I think that if you did something cool with King Arthur, even though that the Brits hate me right now, I think that would be cool. And I will die on the hill of Guy Ritchie's King Arthur.
Nah, man, it's not Clive Owens.
No, it's not. It's Jax Teller's.
Have you not seen Clive Owen's King Arthur? That was peak Clive Owen.
Clive Owen's a really good actor. I wish Clive Owen was more shit, dude. He was so sick in Sin City. He was like the dude that got shit done.
Sin City was just an amazing film.
It was.
Yeah.
But Clive Owen was just in those weird, wacky action movies in the early 2000s. Late
Children of
90s,
Men
early 2000s.
was amazing.
I didn't see it.
Oh, you have to.
It's that
Seriously,
good?
make a point to see it. It is
that good, huh?
It's that good. It's really good.
All right, fine. I'll watch it just because I'm into Clive Owen.
You should be. He's a great King Arthur.
I need to find this goddamn anime because, dude, you guys would recognize it if you saw it. It was if you thought of an animated version of what Keith's Knights of the Round Table would look like. It's what it is, dude. Made for kids. All right, what's next?
We'll go back to video games for a quick second because Dune Awakening the survival RPG, has already sold 1 million copies in its first 2 weeks. Funcom survival game.
A lot of people playing it.
A lot of people playing it. Haven't even heard of this thing.
Dude, you haven't?
No.
It's actually a pretty cool concept because as we know in like the Duneverse, like Arrakis kind of fights, you fight the terrain, and the whole idea is like it's a survival MMO in which you develop relationships and factions, and there's political intrigue, and like it's in an alternate universe where I think Leto and Lady Jessica don't have Paul. So
you're Paul.
You're not Paul, but I think you have like, and I could be wrong, but I think everyone has the ability to like get to that point as being like, you know, the chosen one. But it's a lot of people are playing it. Apparently, a lot of people love it.
I mean, and we'll just bounce off that real quick. Star Wars Battlefront 2 having its highest performance again.
Everyone's playing it, dude.
After the game's been out for 8 years, hasn't been updated in 5 years, but all of a sudden people are back into it. The game was fun. It was just when it first came out, the cash grab mechanics of it were so bad.
So did you hear the story about Battlefront 2?
I don't know anything about it.
Okay, so Battlefront 2 is like a big multiplayer. I think it's 64 versus 64, right? Or 32 versus...
It was 32 versus 32.
Huge, right?
Yeah.
But it's all Star Wars stuff.
Right.
But when it originally came out, there was so many loot box, got you, extra DLC, paid DLC, got you mechanics.
And this was in order to like...
killed the game.
Yeah, so like... And you would use it to get your character stronger, to get like your heroes better.
Oh, like pay to play.
Exactly. And it was probably one of the worst to do it. And it's too bad because the game plays very well. And they got the space battles better in the second game.
So what they did was effectively drop all those mechanics because it killed the game, and it was like DOA pretty much. It was like practically dead on arrival, right? But it got this recent resurgence because a lot of people want a Battlefield 3 just without those shitty mechanics in it, like those predatory kind of like payment mechanics. So since it got stripped out of the game pretty much, people just started playing it. And I think there was like freaking 500,000 people playing it on Steam not too long ago.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy.
And
Like everyone's playing this game.
I know. And I mean, I was a big player of that game when it first came out. I loved it. Finn was my guy.
Finn was your dude.
Finn's always been my guy. Shout out Finn. Shout out John Boyega.
That's so like you to like
because here's what it
simp
is.
on Finn.
Here's what it is.
Why?
Because he had the most wasted potential.
Okay, sure. I agree.
And
But Finn still as a character is like, meh.
I know, but I wasn't good with playing with the Jedis. Finn's like power-ups I could actually use. He was a good support player, so I could actually use him well because I was never good at the game. Plus, Finn's my guy. Don't worry about it, man.
I don't get it. Anyways, what's next?
Let's get to Marvel because Spider-Man Brand New Home is getting a brand new edition. And I'm so excited for this because John Bernthal's Punisher is going to be making his presence known in the new Spider-Man film. Now, the question is, he's very rated R.
Yeah.
Spider-Man's very PG-13. How are we going to make this work? I don't care. We're getting John Bernthal in the MCU, baby. And that's all that matters.
So, like, it just seems that they're adding a lot of MCU characters, right? Like Hulk, John Bernthal. And I'm not, like, complaining about it, but it's kind of like, okay. You know?
Well, I mean, Punisher and Spider-Man are kind of in that.
Yeah, but Spider-Man could carry a movie on his own. My point is he doesn't need these people.
Well, you got to... So
See, I would agree with Hulk. He doesn't necessarily need a Hulk, but I don't mind Punisher. Like if I'm going back to the 90s cartoon where Punisher was hunting Spider-Man.
And Morbius and all that. Yeah.
That could be a cool kind of dynamic. If you had John Bernthal's Punisher hunting Spider-Man, because nobody knows who Spider-Man is. Nobody knows he's a hero. All they see him as a bad guy. So if you had like a Punisher hunting him or chasing him, kind of like the first or season 2 of Daredevil, where they were kind of like after one another, that could be something. Hulk, I don't know how it necessarily works, but John Bernthal.
I feel like it makes sense to put him in there. Kind of, you know, you start the Tom Holland trilogy and Spider-Man's already like, you know, under Tony Stark's wing.
Mhm.
He's already got like these OP suits.
Mhm.
You know, he's got the Friday glasses and launch and stuff. So like by the end of No Way Home, they kind of strip him down. Everybody forgets about Peter Parker.
He
doesn't have the cool suit on. He's got to go back to wearing just standard spandex, stuff like that. So to bring him down to like more street level stories, it makes sense to have the Punisher be a part of that as opposed to Thor or I don't know how they're going to work Hulk in. I don't know how much longer the Mark Ruffalo is going to play Hulk.
Honestly,
I'll say my hot take.
What?
We really missed out on Ed Norton Jr.'s Hulk.
Yeah, I mean that movie was fine.
The movie was sick.
The movie was fine.
That movie was sick.
The movie was fine, but I think Ruffalo did it the best. But he had the best people behind them. You know what I mean? Like when Mark Ruffalo took that role, that was like peak beginning of peak Marvel. That was before even Civil War and like all these Winter Soldier, like all these amazing movies, and then obviously Endgame and like I don't know, man. I like the MCU, but like you have Ironheart coming out on Disney Plus, and I could care less. I could care less. It's about how many different people can be like Iron Man, right? And Riri Williams in the comic books, sick character, great character, okay? But so many people are like analogs of Iron Man. Even Tom Holland's Spider-Man was pretty much an Iron Man. He's like Iron Man Jr.
Spidey themed Iron Man suit.
Mm.
And like the Golden Spider suit during Civil War in the books. Yes, I'm aware. I read the comic book, so I get it. But I think the most intriguing thing about the next Spider-Man movie is the idea that he is stripped down. He's starting from day one,
Starting from zero.
No one knows him. He doesn't have the start tech. He's out just doing Spider-Man things. And I think that like that's a cool idea. I just don't know if we need all these other MCU characters like being shoehorned into it. And again, I love the MCU, but I'm so ready for a focus on new characters, like new people coming into the MCU. And I understand the next Avengers movies are going to be really launching that. But dude, I'm just tired. I'm tired of those characters. I'm tired of those setups.
Give
me X-Men Fantastic? I'm so excited for Fantastic Four. Everything else, I'm just
Well, hang on, because Fantastic Four comes out in a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Brand New Home, 2026 release, right? Do you think they're hiding the Fantastic Four? I think they're going to bring back how Spider-Man was originally introduced. It was in the Fantastic Four. I think they're going to do the same thing in
I don't
Brand
think
New
they're
Home.
going to do the same thing there.
I think it would be a cool like homage to OG Spider-Man fans. If he needed something and he knew Fantastic Four is in town, I got to steal something, which then leads to Punisher seeing, he's a criminal, got to hunt him. Oh, yeah.
What would be cool...
I figured out the movie. I figured it out, guys.
No, you didn't.
Nailed it.
What would be cool is if out of nowhere, the Golden Age First Class X-Men, but in like their original suits from the comic books, show up to help him out of nowhere. That would be sick because they're kind of like a 1960s futuristic world. Like that's what they're in. And if like the Golden Age X-Men like out of nowhere just showed up just to help him out, you know what I mean? That would be a cool idea. What they're theorizing is that Galactus is there actually to take their son, Reed Richards' son.
Franklin Richard.
Franklin,
yeah.
because he's like ultra powerful, and then there's this alternate universe in which like Galactus becomes a herald of Franklin Richards because he's ultra powerful, which is interesting.
Checks out.
What else you got?
Street Fighter.
Shit.
We got a lot of Tatsumakis and Hadoukens, but we got a live action movie coming out, and Chun-Li has been confirmed and has been casted. Kalina Liang has been casted as Chun-Li, the Canadian actress, also seen in Presence and Bad Genius. So, got your next cast covered for Street Fighter. I see it. And then we have Henry Cavill's Highlander has confirmed Russell Crowe will be joining the
I'm
cast.
pumped for. Cavill's Highlander, I want. Dude.
Jor-El and Kal-El will be reuniting again for another film. So, I mean, Russell Crowe feels like a no-brainer for Highlander.
You know what sucks? I think I went on a diatribe in our old days about this. You're familiar with like the Highlander movies, right?
Of course.
Okay.
And the show.
And the show.
And the spin-off show that became the movie.
Yes.
Where I feel like Duncan had to kill Connor.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yes.
I don't know. It got a little convoluted over decades.
Way convoluted. So they jumped the shark so hard on Highlander mythos that it could have been cool if it was just like a secret lineage of people that's just this ancient power, right? That they have.
Well, that was the premise in the first one, in the original.
Yes.
And then by 2, it's like sci-fi.
And then, they're
weird.
aliens and like they were prisoners and they were sent here. And like, I'm like, dude, this was all unnecessary. Like I hope they recalculate the mythos of Highlander. That's what I hope. That's what I hope. Because I can admit, I'm so in on Henry Cavill swinging around swords and shit and beheading people. That would be sick. Give me that. Give me that and Warhammer. Where's Warhammer, dude?
It's on its way. Don't worry about it.
Did you watch any of the secret level stuff on Amazon Prime?
I didn't. It keeps popping up. Like you have enough of a nerd vein to probably enjoy this, like in that feed,
right.
like your next watch. But I haven't watched any of it yet.
Watch. If you can't get down on that shit, just watch the Warhammer episode. It's 12 minutes. It is so
it's pretty sweet.
Fucking amazing. And if you watch that and this is what the movie is going to be like, oh, bro. And like, I understand outside looking in, it could just be like, oh, Warhammer, you know what I mean? It's kind of this and that, whatever. No, it is so well done. Just the idea of these dudes just being tanks that are just walking to their death, right?
It's for the Emperor.
Yeah.
For the Space Emperor.
It's so good. Is that it? Is that all you got?
I got one more major thing.
Okay, wait. Really quick about the Street Fighter movie. What if, I mean, I don't know how they're going to do it, but what if it's like super sick? Like, what if it comes out? Because isn't Legendary doing it?
You would know
I think
before
Legendary
I do.
is doing this film. And like, they take their shit seriously. What if they nail the Street Fighter shit so hard? Because after watching the Guilty Gear anime, I'm going to tell you right now, it's always just an excuse to frame characters to do their special moves. Like with any fighting game movie, that's all it is. It's like,
yes, Legendary is currently developing a live action Street Fighter movie.
Well, they're casting the shit out of it. Like they're obviously going to make this thing.
Well, I'm just telling you, I'm confirming.
No,
what you
I'm
said.
saying like, they're all steam ahead.
Oh yeah.
I think if Street Fighter is great, that'll be great for the FGC, but Elden Ring needs to be great.
I agree.
They got the right guy doing it. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, yeah. He's
Alex
the
Garland,
dude.
yeah.
He's the dude.
Did you watch Devs?
No.
Oh, my God. Watch Devs. Watch Devs. If you talk about like high concept, like sci-fi, but it's not, it's very grounded. It's like high concept, grounded. It's basically about quantum computing. That's what it's about, right? And like, but
Dev being short for developer, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
okay.
Devs is, well, without spoiling anything, basically he runs this company, this like tech company, and he's basically wanting people to kind of write algorithms that can somewhat predict what the next moves are, right? Like but then you understand why. And if you get to a certain point, he'll bring you into Devs, which is like this offshoot, and you understand more and more as it goes and what they're using this quantum computer that they have for, and it's fucked up.
What's it on?
It's on FX. You could go watch it on Hulu right now.
Okay.
Nick Offerman's in it.
Would I watch it with my wife?
I think it's a watchable with your wife's thing.
Okay.
And it's not so high concept that you're like, what the fuck?
I mean, my wife's weird with some stuff. Like Andor.
Yeah.
I had to watch by myself. But other things.
But Love Island season 7.
Or like the Predator Killers.
Yeah.
Totally, I'm on my own on that one.
Oh, yeah,
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, she watches like Severance with me. We watch.
I think if you can watch Severance, you can watch this.
Okay.
They are much the same, but Alex Garland is the right guy to do an Elden Ring movie, in my opinion. I will stand by it though. They need to nail the look of it. If they don't nail the look of it for live action, it's
they got the right people behind it, and they've got George R. R. Martin helping as well.
Yeah.
So like they're gonna have the right look and theme to it. It's just if the acting isn't completely jank.
Yeah.
But Alex Garland movies don't necessarily have acting issues.
No, he's a good writer, good director in my opinion.
Well, especially if you got Martin helping you too, because he'll bang that out quick. Because
For sure.
anything he can do to stop writing his books.
Anything he can do to not have to write his own book.
Right.
For sure. My last...
Wait. I got a question for you. This is my theory. So it'll give another country excuse to get mad at me. Do you think how the show ended is the exact way he planned on ending the books, to the point where he saw the backlash and he's like, I'm not even going to go there?
Honest answer, I feel like pretty closely, because they even said too with what are the guys' names? That
Jon Snow.
Oh, it's,
the two showrunners.
Oh, I know.
I'm blanking on their names. But they even said, like, before he even greenlit to have them do Game of Thrones as a show, called them in and he's like, okay.
Benioff and Weiss.
Yeah. How, having been super fans of my books, how do you think it ends and who ends up on the Iron Throne? And they both had talked about that so much, and they said, you know, for those of you that haven't watched Game of Thrones yet, I don't want to ruin it for you, 8 years later. But they got the right answer. So, and that was what convinced him, like, oh, my story's in good hands. So I kind of feel like if they knew how it ended, that's kind of, I mean, he might have taken some different routes to get there, but I kind of feel like that was on his kind of checklist of all the things that happened. And I think afterwards he's like, well, people are probably not going to be feeling what I'm about to do here, so I have to change everything.
Well, I feel like Game of Thrones, the major issues were on the production side rather than the story side.
Not really. They kind of rushed the final season because, like, it should have been like
Bran was, or spoiler, but it's been 8 years, like you said.
Son of a.
Yeah.
I just look.
Wait, have you not watched Game of Thrones?
We totally did.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
All right.
My whole thing is kind of like Daenerys' descent into madness was definitely foreshadowed through the whole series.
But it wasn't progressive when it actually took place. It's like, oh, you cut my advisor's head off, and now I'm going to burn your entire town.
Right. Yeah.
And it was over the course of like 2 episodes.
Right.
Like a day and a half.
It was rushed. That was the problem. But I'm telling you, dude, I feel like every beat, because he did he basically noted out the story beats for the showrunners before the final 2 seasons, because they basically got to a point where there was no other material for them to work off of to adapt. And I feel like that's exactly the way he was going to end it. And then he saw the backlash and he's like, oh shit, they're going to eat me alive if I write this in the book. So he's either trying to scramble to figure out a different ending, right? Like, if that's not in your intent and you're an author, how do you just manufacture a different ending? Like, I think nothing he's going to do is going to satisfy the fans of the books.
Well,
I don't think he should write to satisfy the fans. He should write it to satisfy himself. That's what an author
Well, then
should
that's
do.
why it's not being written, because he's
but authors tend to like be kind of perfectionists too. You know what I mean? And some of them are really good at cranking out awesome novels quickly. Like Brandon Sanderson's and, what's the guy that writes like all the Alex Cross novels that does like 13 a day?
Oh God.
The Peterson. I don't like.
They're on like the R.L. Stein track.
But there are other authors that like they finish a manuscript and then they go back to the editing and start tweaking it, right? And then they deconstruct a scene, which causes them to have to tweak a chapter, which then they go down that rabbit hole, and all of a sudden they've torn apart the last third of their book.
Right.
And then they can't put their pieces back together. And then they get disgruntled and they get frustrated and they go on to something else. But that feeling of like, that's a really frustrating thing that I'm in the middle of, they just stay away, like almost like risk averse. Like they don't want to feel like that again. So they just don't ever go back to it. I mean, that's 3 authors that I feel like there's a lot of fans out there that would love for them to finish it, that they probably never will. Martin Rothfuss, who writes The Name of the Wind, fantastic books. He'll probably never finish it. And Scott Lynch, if you've ever read the Gentleman Bastard series, so good. It's like Ocean's 11 set in like a fantasy setting. It's good. But he got halfway through it and just I understand. Everybody's human. Authors have, struggle with depression and
alcoholism,
addiction and all the other things, right? But I feel like those are like the three that people have been waiting over a decade for.
How many books did the Name of the Wind series get in? Because I started that.
So Name of the Wind is proposed trilogy. Rothfuss says he'll do more, or it's like kind of like his prelude to more adventures in the world that he's created. But it begins and ends with his original trilogy, and he just can't do book 3. And his publisher was saying stuff like, I haven't seen anything that he's written in like 6 years.
Oh, really?
And he's, he plays D&D on, online with people and goes to all these readings and signings, and he writes all these little novellas and stuff like that. But as far as like tackling the book that everybody is pretty much waiting on, I don't think it'll ever happen. And it's sad. It's sad, especially if you really like what someone's doing.
If you're completely unmotivated at that point, just get like a ghostwriter to do like the labor for you and talk through it with them.
And that's, that's a thing that you'd almost, let's say, okay, imagine you're at a reading, right? And it's Q&A time with your favorite author, and he or she is suffering from that exact thing, like just not putting out the last book, a ton of excuses or reasons why it hasn't come yet. And you are a person in the crowd that's allowed to ask the question, would you ever be open not to have someone write it for you?
No.
But just to help you. Maybe,
have a collaborator.
Maybe that writer's block is just so, and not just like a collaborator as far as like a beta reader or people that you ask their opinion, but an actual writer that does what you do. Maybe not in the style you do, but knows how to get a narrative going.
A lot of
get
people
the point
do
across.
that in the fantasy genre.
I feel like it would be so helpful to certain individuals.
Oh yeah.
But there's ego in it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've spent so much of my time creating this world, creating these stories,
and
loving these characters. I don't want anybody else's input.
Right.
When you might also have the feeling of like, you're never going to quite understand the characters the way I do. And that's where I think a lot of authors would get biffed up.
There's this thing called, what is it called? A mouth. And then you use that to create words. And then you tell someone about those characters and communicate. And then you get your fucking product done so everyone can stop bitching.
Nah, man.
Anyways, you got anything else?
Yeah, I got Adi Shankar, the Devil May Cry Netflix creator, head producer. So season 2 on the way, top priority. But he's also got a little fun little gig that I feel he's got the right style to make it exactly what it needs to be. And after acquiring the rights from Gearbox Software, he now has the rights to Duke Nukem.
Oh God. As a cartoon?
Yes. As a like animated series, which is exactly what it needs to be. It needs to be cheesy. It needs to be stupid. It needs to be gory. It needs to be exactly like Devil May Cry, tell you the truth, but even goofier because it's Duke Nukem. And hail to the king, baby.
I think that's pushing it a little bit much. I don't think I need a Duke Nukem cartoon.
Well,
but you know what?
Everybody's been trying to crack the code. Duke Nukem's so...
It's time to let Duke Nukem go. It's time. It's time to let him go. But that's okay.
Yeah. But also...
No.
I mean, we're in an era of comebacks.
No. Bye-bye.
I could see it working.
Anyways, we're going to take a quick break, come back with sports. It's kind of a light sports week, but
big sports.
NBA finals are done, right?
They are done.
We'll recap that, then we'll go over our stories. We'll get the hell out of here. Wait. We'll go over our sports stories. Did I say stories? We'll go sports.
That's why the British are mad at him.
Back. Yeah, stay here. Big shout out to Groggs Traditional Irish Pub at the northeast corner of Willow and Knees. Not only do they house the Do Over podcast for tabs and takes, but they invited us to go blow it up on St. Patrick's Day live on scene. Now that that's done, it's easing us into summer and it gets hella hot here in the Central Valley. Groggs prides themselves on being the coldest drinking establishment in the Central Valley. Literally go down there, get a nice cold pickleback, get a nice cold Guinness, throw it back and leech off that free AC, son. Support Groggs because they support the Do Over podcast. Believe it or not, Royce isn't on the pod because he doesn't want to talk about sports.
He's
That's all
wearing his
Elliott wants to talk
shades
about.
inside right now.
Not until football.
Not into football.
And also, we got to start talking about Do-Over Fantasy League.
Yeah. Yeah, are we still doing that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's different.
Might as well.
Different times, you know.
Different times, man.
It's different times.
And then we
man.
still got to give the... why are Jinkos back? Look at this shit. why are Jinkos back, dude?
That's a duck.
Yeah, you missed the Jinko part. Why are Jinkos back, dude?
I can't imagine they are.
They are. In a big way. They have reinvented themselves as being relevant once again.
Chat, let us know. Are Jinkos back?
They're back.
I don't think so.
Anyways, what we got on sports, man?
Not a whole lot, but some big stuff nonetheless, because we got to talk about the NBA Finals going down Sunday night, Game 7, OKC, Pacers. It was looking like Edward Rouse was going to be right about Pacers in 7 until he unfortunately was not. And it really was a bummer because the Oklahoma City Thunder, they win their first NBA championship. This includes the Supersonic because they were the Supersonic until they moved to Oklahoma City. But Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, SGA, he pulls off an incredible season as he wins regular season MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP, NBA champion, and NBA Finals MVP. The Thunder, dominant team all year as they beat the Pacers in 7 by a decent margin, but a lot of that stems from the Pacers losing their star point guard, Tyrese Halliburton, who has had a great story all year. Going into the playoffs, he was named by players unanimously and anonymously the most overrated player in basketball. Not only does he upset, and I guess I call it an upset because you're beating Giannis in round 1, but you beat the Bucks and Giannis. Then you upset, who was it? I was just telling Royce about this. You beat the Knicks in 6. Who was that? Oh, you beat the Cavs in 5. And the Cavs were the 1 seed in the East. So you beat the Cavs, you beat the Knicks, you beat Giannis, and then you take OKC, who was the best team in basketball, to 7. But unfortunately, it has been confirmed after starting the game hot, 3 of 4 from shooting in the first quarter. Tyrese tore his Achilles. He'd been dealing with a calf strain, which a lot of people are speculating the strain is so severe that it then puts too much pressure on the Achilles, and that's why the Achilles gives out. He has torn his Achilles. He will be out for the next upcoming season, 2025-2026 season. So the Pacers are much like the Boston Celtics, much like the Milwaukee Bucks, in kind of this purgatory because one of your star players, Giannis is the star in Milwaukee, but Damian, still a good player. You've lost one of your stars. What are you going to do now?
Yeah.
If the East has never been more wide open, and I actually think this, because Giannis Antetokounmpo has been the big, where's he going to go? We'll get to Kevin Durant in a second, but Giannis is in his prime, won a championship, and been the star championship winner, right? I don't know if he leaves Milwaukee now because of how wide open the East is. Jason Tatum for the Celtics, gone. Out because of his Achilles. So Boston's not as strong. The Cavs, are they good? Are they not good? They might be regular season good, but are they playoff good? Hasn't been shown. Pacers aren't going to be there next year. And if they are, they're going to be a low seed because they just don't have the playmaking ability. The Knicks just fired their coach for no reason.
Yeah.
For having the best season they've had in 25 years. So we don't know what's going to happen with the East, which is why I think you'll see Giannis stay, because this is your best chance to win another title, because the West is now officially stacked. Because, we'll go on to this, Kevin Durant, NBA journeyman, 2-time finals MVP, NBA MVP, he has been traded to the Houston Rockets, the 2 seed in the West this last season, a very young defensive team who just couldn't find offense in the playoffs. That's why they lost to the Warriors. Well, he has been traded for Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, and for a couple of draft picks. So the Suns rebuilding for the future, getting a young team, Kevin Durant now getting on a contender level team, and a lot of analysts are speculating outside of OKC, they might be the second favorite in the West. And I mean, there's a lot to like with Houston. Houston's got a very good head coach. They've got a great defensive team. They've got a strong big man in Sengun who is a bucket, really. I mean, think of Giannis light, like diet Giannis. So you're getting a very good defensive team, a very good team with depth, and then you're getting a guaranteed bucket with Kevin Durant, who, though he's 37, he's still one of the best offensive players in the league. And now he doesn't have to try so hard in defense because everybody else is going to play defense around him. Houston's making a big push. So the NBA, their 6 last finals have been different teams.
Right.
You could see it again for 7.
That's good, though. It's good that it's a bunch of different people.
I think it's good, but also I do think there's power in dynasties. And I also think if there is one team set up perfect for the future, it is OKC because they develop their young players. They're only going to get better. And, you know, you'll probably pay a max for SGA because he had such an incredible season, but you don't have to, I think, for another year or two. So you're going to have this same team for at least another year. And if you can go back to back, that's a huge accomplishment. And then you're in one of the all-time great dynasties. So OKC, congratulations. You win in 7 for your dozens of fans to celebrate in Oklahoma City. Did you guys cover hockey while I was gone?
No. Well, yeah, but I don't think we talked about, I don't think it was over when we recorded.
Well, Panthers beat the Oilers again. Florida hockey reigns supreme.
I didn't see any boobs this time around.
No.
Lame.
I will say, pardon me, you did see a huge pop-off. I'm going to say 2 things. One, I think playoff hockey is incredible. In the celebration when the Panthers won, it looked as if this was their first time ever winning in franchise history.
Right.
So that was really special to watch. 2, I didn't see a single thing on social media about the Panthers or the finals.
Yeah, neither did I.
Like, I saw a ton of basketball stuff. And like throughout the playoffs in hockey, I saw a bunch of hockey stuff. So I was like, oh, and even in like games 1, 2, 3, 4, and like, I think it was 5, I saw plenty of updates, plenty of posts. I didn't see a lick for the actual claiming of the trophy or the parade. And that feels like such a waste.
Yeah.
I don't know if maybe my algorithm's broken, but I was like, dude, I didn't even know about it until a day or so after because I'm so busy in my new master's program. Go Broncos.
I'm such a Santa Clara man now.
Masters of Science in Sports Business. Just saying. It does seem a little gloomy now that hockey's done and now that basketball's done. So we are in just a baseball summer.
Well,
Which is why we're going to go into baseball next week with Eddie. But
NFL's coming up.
72 days away from the start of the NFL season.
72. Eddie did his NFL power rankings. You missed it. last
Already?
week. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
think he
did have
said...
the Eagles got to be 1.
I think he said Eagles are 1.
Eagles got to be 1. Who would he have as 2?
Watch the episode. It's out.
No, I'm gonna guess it, and then Oric, you can put a check mark or an X mark if I get him wrong.
Yeah, just give Oric
Eagles 1
more
for
work.
sure. Let's see. I could see him maybe flirting with Washington being 2. I could see him flirting.
I think he had the Commanders up there pretty high.
I still think you got to give the Chiefs credit just because they have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I bet he would see them slip though because I think he's all in on Jim Harbaugh and the Chargers. He's a big Charger boy.
I can't tell you what it is because the closed captioning for some reason is not working. Oh, there you go. Okay, number 10 is LA Chargers.
Oh, he gave him top 10. That's fair. That's fair. It's fair.
Okay, hold on. I'll go to the end here.
Give me his top 3. It's got to be Eagles. I don't think it'd be Lions. I bet I'm going to guess right here.
Okay,
I think it's Chiefs. I think it's Eagles, Chiefs, Commanders.
No. Buffalo.
Buffalo. Okay.
Okay. Eagles. And I can't remember who was number 3. I don't even know if Green Bay made the list.
He's a hater. He's a hater. He's a hater. It's fine. Everybody's super in on the Vikings. Everybody's super in on the Bears. Everybody's super in on the Lions. But Packers have made the playoffs the last 2 years with Jordan Love.
Lions are high up there too. So
Yeah.
So
I'm just saying.
look,
You guys can always no, hang on.
Okay.
You guys can always go and say, "Oh, the Packers are done. The Packers are done. The Packers are a thing of the past." The Bears, it's the Bears season. It's always the Bears season in the preseason.
Lions are number 5.
Okay,
Chiefs are number 4.
Okay, that's. It's hard to put anybody above them in the AFC because nobody has been able to quite beat them in the AFC.
Yeah, but they got their ass whooped at the Super Bowl.
No, they
pretty
did.
bad.
They got clowned. They got
clowned
They got
pretty-
clowned for sure. But I mean,
Baltimore Ravens at number 3. Buffalo number 2. Eagles at number 1.
I understand it. It's just, it's hard to not give the team that has literally beaten all of those teams other than the Eagles, like the bump ahead.
Maybe
I think we have Chiefs fatigue.
yes, but maybe the Chiefs have fatigue too.
No, I agree.
Maybe their time is just done. Because, dude, the Eagles whooped them so bad that it could be studied as a playbook on how to take him out for the rest of the season.
Well, I think how the Eagles have been developing their team over the last decade, I think is just a playbook on how to succeed. Build the defensive line, build your offensive line, have 2-3 playmakers, and a solid quarterback. I don't think Jalen Hurts is like a top 5 quarterback, but he's good and he's fast and he's mobile enough. If you have just a mobile enough quarterback who can make good enough throws, 1 or 2 great playmakers, and an offensive line that's never going to let you get hurt,
right.
you're set.
Yeah.
You're set. Battles are won in the trenches, man, especially in football. You got a great defensive line? Well, you're the 49ers. Great offensive line? Well, you're the Eagles. And those teams have been 2 of the best teams in the last decade.
Yeah. Well, the countdown to NFL starts.
72 days away, baby.
72 days away as of right now.
So
it'll
hang
be
on.
68 days.
68 days.
68 days. by
Not
the
as
time you
nice,
see
but
this.
nice.
But kind of nice. Wait.
Pretty
72,
technically
71, 70, 69. It is 69.
super nice.
Super nice.
Super
69
nice.
days away
Super nice.
from that NFL goodness. And
So
yes, we're going to be
nice.
doing the do-over Fantasy Football League and returning with our lovely Elliott doing our fantasy football recaps.
Yeah, I do be recapping.
Royce loves the recaps.
I know. That's half the reason why we were able to get here.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, Elliott, I just want to say I love you.
So happy to be back.
You're
Good to be back.
You're such a sexy man.
I
Elliott.
bring so much to this show. It's crazy.
Yeah, without you, I don't know what I'm going to do.
What would he do?
Yeah. And if you want to check out our live broadcast, twitch.tv/The Do-Over Podcast, happening right now if you're watching this Friday morning.
Probably on right now.
Probably on right now. Or just subscribe. It's free to do so. It helps us out.
It would help us out immensely.
Yeah.
Because I have student loans now.
Yeah, he has student loans. He's massively in debt. And he is sad.
I actually just got an email and it said your credit score down. Oh no.
Oh no.
Damn you, Nintendo. I knew I shouldn't have done it.
Anyways, thank you for hanging out with us. I hope you enjoyed this show. If you have any questions, you could always just keep them to yourself because we're not going to answer any. But we will be back on the internet. Until next week, gotta go. Love you. Bye.
Bye. Pew, 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 pew. Bow. Bow, bow, bow. Bow, 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 bow. Bow, bow.